Hey all, welcome back to the podcast. I'm your host, Vashti Sarah, and you're tuned into another episode of All the Things where we literally talk about all the things. So in today's episode, let's just jump right into it. We're going to talk about how to deal with difficult people. People are difficult. People are challenging. People can just really just irk you sometimes. But as Christians, what are we supposed to do? Every Life is America's pro-life diaper and wipes company. My family absolutely loves them. There's no harsh toxins. There's no chemicals. It's perfectly safe for your little one. We love Every Life, their mission, their vision, everything about them. Use my code VASHTI10 for 10% off your first order. That is VASHTI10 for 10% off your first order. So one of the first things that difficult people do, they like, and all of this are mind games. Difficult people do, and it's constant criticism. They will treat you insignificantly, ridicule you, dismiss how you feel. They'll make you feel inferior and make themselves feel superior. Difficult people will do this. How do you combat that? You say thank you and you walk away. A silent answer turns away wrath every single time. A silent answer turns away wrath. Thank you, and walk away. Difficult people feel the need to criticize, constantly criticize. They will point the finger at you and not at self. And a lot of the times they know exactly what's wrong with them, but they make themselves feel better by pointing fingers at everybody else so that the spotlight's not on them. And what they don't realize is that the spotlight's been on them. And the more that they criticize everybody else, the more they make it appear as if everyone else is the problem. Everyone else start realizing, no, they're the problem. The second thing that they do is negative humor. They make critical remarks. They're very sarcastic. They think it's funny. But in actuality, it's their own insecurity. Humor is how they carry on with their life. And we're all susceptible to this. I'm not trying to say, there's only some people like this. And, if you're a good Christian, you don't struggle with this. We all struggle with being a difficult person from time to time. How do you outsmart someone like this? Remain calm, smile, and then you ask them a question. Why? Why did you feel the need to say that? What's the point of making that comment? Was that necessary? Ask a question and reverse psychology. And you won't, you'd be stunned at how you stop them in their tracks. And they'll try to, what, you think you're too good? Oh, you're playing dumb now? No, I'm not playing dumb. I'm genuinely asking you, why did you feel the need to say that? What did I do for you to say that? So ask them a question back, but remain calm. Another thing difficult people do, and I will wager to say, women, we struggle with this more than men do, is we give the silent treatment. We ignore messages, calls, or we even ignore questions. And it makes the other person doubt themselves. What you do is you address it. Now, I will say you give time. Don't immediately try to address it. Give time. Let the heat of things die down a little bit. Let the fire die down a little bit. And then you address it. Hey, a couple days ago, I was calling you. I was trying to text you and you didn't respond at all. Are we okay? Are we good? Call them out. Again, very calm, in a posture that is not pompous. That's not, I'm better than you. But humbly ask, hey, what's going on? Another thing difficult people do is they play the victim all the time. They take advantage of other people's kindness. They make others feel guilty. And this is an instinct to protect and care for others for personal gain. They play the victim. What do? Don't get emotionally involved, and that's a lot easier said than done. Or consider letting go of that relationship. If you have friends who always play the victim, who take advantage of your kindness, who there's always a problem, it might be time to slowly let go of that friendship, let go of that relationship, because you don't want to be in a toxic relationship. You have to be wise. If you're not married to them, especially if you're not married to them, why remain in a toxic relationship and in a toxic environment? As Christ followers, we're supposed to be good stewards of every area of our life, and we'll give an account of every area of our life. What do difficult people do? They project. They criticize others for things they themselves do. This one's a big one. They criticize others for things they themselves do. Like I said, they have the plank in their eye, but they're pointing out the speck in someone else's eyes. Don't take the bait. Remove yourself from that situation. Don't snap back. All you're going to do is just ignite the fire even more and add fury to the situation. Walk away. Just simply walk away. And they'll make comments when you walk away. What, you don't have anything to say now? What, you think you're better than me? No, I'm just choosing to walk away. I'm not going to add anything good to this situation because you believe what you believe. So just walk away. Something else difficult people do is they pretend to be ignorant. They play dumb to get away with their behavior or actions. Did I do that? Did I really do that? Or they'll even deny, I didn't do that. No, that's not me. Everyone else saw you though. Everyone else agrees. But you're the only one who don't see it. Cool. What do? And this one is difficult. You judge their actions, not their intentions. The action was wrong, but you can't determine someone's intentions. A silent answer turns away wrath. The Christian thing to do, the Christ-like thing to do, is to love despite their arrogance. To love despite their pretense. Call them out when they need to be called out. Like I said, sometimes you just need to let go. Move on. Not that you don't love them. Not that you're not going to ever be there for them. But sometimes it's just easier to let go. Because all that friendship is doing in your life is causing chaos and stress and misery. Something else that difficult people do is they guilt trip. This is a passive-aggressive tactic where someone reminds you of something bad you did to make you feel guilty and want to make up for it. So they know they've done wrong. They know they've sinned. But instead of owning up to what they do, well, you did. Well, did you know they blah, blah, blah. And I think siblings are really good at this, especially if they're talking to their parents. I have 3 brothers, so I completely get it. We're a large home. And it's so easy. If your parents are like, well, I want to talk to you about this because you blah, blah, blah. Well, did you see what so-and-so did? And you call it your other sibling. That's guilt tripping. That's being very passive aggressive, trying to shift blame and shift focus on someone else. Respond with empathy, and trust your instincts. Gently respond with empathy. Hurt people. They don't want to own up to what they've done. They don't want to be criticized. They struggle severely with pride. So it's easier to shift focus on someone else than to own up to what they've done. And lastly, what do difficult people do? They gaslight. Oh, I hate gaslighting. I hate it. And I'm susceptible to doing it too. I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh, I've never done it. I'm susceptible to doing it too. I'm human, but I hate gaslighting. I hate being gaslit. Using denial, lying, misinformation, and contradiction to make you doubt your sanity, your memory, and perception. Hate it. I think gaslighting is the root of it is evil. It is an evil heart. Because you're making someone essentially look dumb and like an idiot. As if what they're saying, what they're standing for, has no grounds. So how do you outsmart them? How do you deal with this? You disengage and walk away. Just walk away. If you add to it and rebutting, I've found rebutting never works. They always have something to say. They always feel like they're the smartest person in the room. They will always negate. So just disengage from the conversation and walk away. Something that my husband does is if I'm challenging him on something that I fully haven't thought through, is we call it the fortnight okay. And this goes back to a story, I think, in the first year in marriage. He was playing Fortnite and I was telling him, I was like, oh yeah, this is the part where you blah, blah, blah. And he looked at me and he's like, no. He's like, and I responded, I was like, yes, I know what I'm talking about. I saw my brothers play this game and this is blah, blah, blah. It was a stupid conversation, mind you. It was a stupid thing. And he was like, no, it's not, Vash. And I'm over here like digging my heels in. And I kind of borderline got like a little bit upset that he wasn't believing me and like saying I didn't know what I was talking about. And the Fortnite okay is okay. And I was like, okay. He's like, okay. If you say that's what it is, then that's what it is. Come to find out, I was completely wrong. So to this day, we're 3 years in and we call it the Fortnite okay with other people too. And I guess we're letting out our secret there. But in our marriage, like sometimes we'll dig our heels in on certain things and I will respond like, okay. And that's our cue for we're just going to drop the conversation. And not that either of us need to prove the other wrong, but we'll let the situation play out as is. And who's right will be right and who's wrong will be wrong. So disengage and walk away. And if you want to use my Fortnite okay, just be like, okay, cool. So that's it for today's episode, or that's the premise of today's episode is how do you deal with difficult people? Reality is we live in a fallen world. People are people. And I don't say that to justify people being mean and rude, but it explains why people are mean and rude. And it's because the nature of humans, because we live in a fallen world, is sin. We want, or we are more likely, more prone to lean towards sin because doing good, being good, owning up to wrong, owning up to when we are wrong is difficult. It's hard to love people. It is really hard to love people, but we are called to love. We are called to walk in grace. We are called to extend mercy. And the measure of mercy and the measure of grace, the measure of forgiveness that you extend to others is the measure you'll receive in return. So if you extend little, expect little in return. If you expect plenty, you will be given plenty in return. And that is biblical. The Lord is righteous and he will justify you. I do believe in standing up for yourself. I'm not saying, be quiet, be a sheep and don't do anything. Don't stand up for what you believe in. No, stand up for what you believe in. Be affirmative. Don't let people walk over you. But some difficult people, you just got to walk away. It's a lost cause to fight that battle because they've dug their heels so deep. Only the Holy Spirit can take them out of that mentality. Only the Holy Spirit can convict and soften their hearts And I say only the Holy Spirit because the Holy Spirit is so powerful. And he's there to defend you. And he's there to take care of those who are difficult if they submit and are willing. Every Life is America's pro-life diaper and wipes company. My family absolutely loves them. There's no harsh toxins. There's no chemicals. It's perfectly safe for your little one. We love Every Life, their mission, their vision, everything about them. Use my code VASHTI10 for 10% off your first order. That is VASHTI10 for 10% off your first order. So my challenge to you, if you're dealing with difficult people right now, if you're dealing with a difficult person, that could be your spouse, that could be a coworker, that could be a friend, that could be a sibling. Love them. Be gracious to them, be merciful to them. And sometimes you might just need to walk away. Well, that's it for today's episode. Like, share, subscribe, do all the things, and I will see y'all next time.